Somebody better tell me what the hell is going on right now.
I'm sorry. Please. You have to know I had no other choice.
Sorry about what? Okay.
Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome back to my channel where I'll be doing another episode recap of today's Daysofourlives, October 18, 2024. So let's get this out of the way before we get into the meat of the matter, right? So Tate is at school. He and Aaron are talking. He fills in Aaron on the fact that, all right, him and Holly are not back together. They broke up, because of everything that's happened recently with his dad being arrested and Holly trying to find information on him, and just a lot of red flags throughout the relationship. She's sending him to jail, pinning the drugs on him, so he's just not sure that they'll get back together. So Aaron is asking him about Sophia. So he's like, didn't you used to like Sophia? And he said, it's not gonna go nowhere with her and I. She just sees me as a friend, so you're more than welcome to date her. So he did say, what, he's gonna take up Aaron on that offer, to see where things go with him and her, because he does find her attractive for God knows why, and she's just been there for him throughout the whole thing with his dad. So yeah, Aaron is giving him the blessings to go ahead and, him and Sophia date and all that. I'm not for this couple. I really don't care for the two of them. I think Tate is really whiny, considering that he blames Holly for a lot of stuff, and he's not thinking that, okay, Sophia had anything to do with this, that it wasn't just, oh, she's saying she has feelings for him and that's where it's at, Sophia taunted Holly a lot. She has definitely made advances on him while he was with Holly. So come on, why wouldn't Holly put the brakes to that girl? Come on. So go back to the wedding, the Shamafa wedding, right? So we see Holly, while JJ was about, he's making a toast about how, he needed to get in touch with his sister often with video calls and stuff. Holly, had a flashback of, fake Abigail, talking on the phone and actually telling Holly that she was talking to JJ about how their mother is acting. And, she mentioned that at the wedding. So fake Abigail, was caught off guard, but then she tells Holly that, you must have misunderstood what I meant and all that. And JJ is shaking his head because he's like, that call didn't happen and all that, right? So anyways, Holly leaves because it's getting uncomfortable, and she says she'll comfort things later. So that leaves Chad, JJ, and fake Abigail. So Chad tells JJ that he needs to speak with her in private. So he leaves, and it just leaves them to talk about what just happened. So Kayla, goes to the pub. She's trying to, reach Chad, but she's not getting through. She's frantic. So Roman is asking her, what's going on? You're shaking, something must be up. So she's saying to him that, she's trying to get through to Chad to tell him that, listen, this lady is a fraudster. You need to not go through with this marriage and all that, but she's not getting through to him at all. So she fills in Roman on the fact that, Steve, had his suspicions, and, it was proven to be right, and that one of her, staff members was involved in, faking the DNA test for Abigail, right? So Abigail is not alive. So he's like, I can't believe this has happened. No wonder her mother was acting that way. She knew what was up. And, I feel just bad for the parents. I feel bad for Chad, I feel bad for the family. So, they're just hoping that Steve, because she did mention that Steve actually took a flight to Paris, so hopefully Steve gets there in time before Chad and that lady, gets married, which they already have, but she's just hoping that Steve reach in time to stop things, right? So she was trying to get through to Dr. Green. She's not getting through, and hopefully the law catches up with him, right? So Mark is in Paris, he's on the phone with Clyde. Clyde and him is going through the plans to really off Chad. And he's still having second thoughts, reservations to doing that. He's never murdered nobody. And yet still he's talking about this loudly in the square where anybody can hear him, right? So Clyde tells him that, there's a package under one of the tables. He went for it. It's the gun to kill Chad with. So of course he's flashing it again in public, not even concealing it. And he's saying, okay, I will go through, but after I go through with it, like, you need to release my mom and all of that. So while that conversation is going on, Holly ended up, behind him. So he had to end the call. So Holly is saying, like, what a coincidence that you're here. What you doing here? So he asked her first what she's doing there. And she said she's there, to see her mom and all that. And he said that he's here to just take care of his parents' affairs, because they had some properties, quote unquote, properties in Paris. And, they're deceased and all that, so he has to take care of that. So she did offer her condolences, and she did know about it from his brother Aaron, because they go to school together. So she also tell him that it's a coincidence to see a lot of familiar faces, like she saw Abigail the mayor and she asked him if he know her. So again, he lied and said he has never met her. However, he heard a lot about her and about her return, and she mentioned that she was just at their wedding. And, he said, he's happy for the two of them. And she tell him that, they did their vows, they're husband and wife again. And, he's happy for them and they deserve a second chance and yada, yada. So she did also mention that, her brother, JJ Kim, made a surprise attendance and all that. So he's, surprised that there was another person there. But anyways, he said that he has business to take care of. So he went on his merry way. At this point, JJ comes up. So JJ asks Holly, who is this guy? So she said, some other familiar face that I know from Salem. So she began to ask JJ, what's going on with Chad and Abigail. So he said that, they're trying to work things out in private, but I just feel like something is off, something don't add up, because I didn't speak to her the other night. And Holly was saying, yeah, like I also heard that too, but, maybe I shouldn't have said nothing, to disrupt anything at the wedding. So he's like, no, it needed to be said, because, something seems off. I don't feel like that lady's my sister, and maybe my mom is right about her. I used to be a cop back in the day, so I know when tests can be doctored. So, of course, JJ is quickly catching on, quicker than a lot of people, and say quicker than even Chad, that should know his wife better than everybody else. So Fiona is, starting her shift. She's a few minutes late. Ava is now the general manager there. So she's saying, like, I don't tolerate tardiness. But anyways, she was reading this article about Brady and Fiona, right? Fiona actually been arrested for what happened to Sarah, so she can't believe that this is happening. So Sophia is there to share her thoughts about that, and said that she can't believe that this woman was really like that, because she did serve her a couple of times and she was nice enough to have a conversation with her, but she turned out to be a witch at some point. So she said now she doesn't have anybody to confide in, and Ava is like, you don't have any girlfriends? So she said, me and Holly used to be friends, but a lot of things has happened. And she said, let me guess, it was a boy, right? So she said, yes, I really like this guy, and I think she broke girl code when she went out with him and not tell me about it, and knowing that I feel a type of way about this guy. So things just happened there, and then once they started to become a couple, they just weren't right for each other, and I also was a cause of why they split up too. So Ava is like, it's like feeling like you're the other woman. So she's like, yeah, do you know anything about that? So of course Ava knows about that, being the other woman, being the woman that's cheated on and all that. But she didn't tell her, much of her business. So she said, you really don't want that attached to you. But listen, if Tate's a great guy and, he's single and all that, go for it. You're beautiful. You're smart. You're funny and all of that, right? Go for it. So she's, planting seeds in her head to go along for it. So at some point, Tate comes to the restaurant and Tate asks her out if she want to, hang out after work, and he'll pick her up. So of course she's smiling about that. So it seems like these two are gonna quickly become an item, as we suspected. So let's go back to Paris, right, with Chad and fake Abigail, right? So he asked her point blank, like, what was that about? Like, how come you tell a lie about talking to JJ when you didn't? Like, what's really going on? So after badgering and badgering, she finally decides that, okay, she's going to tell the truth. But before she gets to tell the truth, there's a knock at the door. So Chad opened the door, it's Dr. Green, and he's like, who are you? So, he said he just ran into JJ, and JJ told him about the wedding, and, Holly, he ran into Holly, and Holly, told him about the wedding, and he just was there to offer his congratulations, which is just weird and out of the blue. So it's like, we don't even know you, like where you come from. So at first he didn't know, but then he started to put two and two together, and he had a flashback of the two of them talking at some point. So he said, I seen you two together, like what is up? Like somebody needs to tell me what's going on. So Dr. Green is like, it's not what is like, I really don't want to do this, is because of Clyde. So moments later, this is what happened, right? Mark comes in with the gun and he backs up Chad, and he's saying like, Clyde made me do this. And, of course, Vic Abigail is surprised because remember, he did not ended up telling her about his plans when he get to Paris, right? So anyways, she comes in the way and she's trying to stop him from shooting Chad, and she's like, you have to shoot me and everything. So it looked like she really caught feelings for Chad and all that. So Chad is just surprised as to what is really going on, but he's there. And, don't make me do this. So, of course, he is nervous, and, we're wondering how this is going to go down. But remember, Steve is there in town, so he should be there at some point, right?
I'll tell you what's going on. This woman is not Abigail.
So Captain Steve stays the day as usual, and Chad is surprised to see him, but he's saying like, listen, after he clocked Dr. Green in his head, he's saying, listen, this woman is not Abigail. So of course he's stunned, but they've been trying to tell you, Chad. I don't know how much signs and red flags there is out there. So many people told you, but you chose not to, and you're really the definition of blinded by love. Really love blind for you. So anyways, that is it for today's episode. I really enjoyed this episode. Apart from the Tate and Aaron and Sophia scenes, it was a really good episode. So let's see what happens Monday, the fallout of this whole thing with Chad. He's gonna be hurt all over again, grieve Abigail over again, and I feel bad, but then not too bad because he should have listened and looked at the red flags. So that is it, guys. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I hope you have an awesome weekend. See you on Monday.